What it do, what it do, what it do, good people. Coming to you live from Taz TV 410. I'm your host, Taz Dean. Listen here, y'all. We ain't finished our show from last week. You see, we got the guest, the God, Marcel. Welcome back to the show, Marcel. How you feeling?
Feeling great, man, Taz. Exciting, man. Thank you for having me back on the show, man. You are bringing the heat with these interviews. I've been watching every episode since you started, man. It keeps on.
Man, that's what's up. That's what's up. I'm loving the conversation. Baltimore, continue to participate. Please continue to participate. Don't get in y'all feelings. We older now. Don't get in y'all feelings. Mark,
not
like
just Baltimore. The national. I mean, it's international. We got players from Baltimore all over the world that can tap in. You know, players from all over the country. You know, you touched a lot of people, Taz.
Yeah,
this is a national show. This ain't no local show.
Yeah, already. Now listen here. Now we gotta go back a little bit, Sal. We gotta go back a little bit, Sal, because
absolutely.
Your list. Let's go back to your list. You had Darnell Hopkins off your list, right?
Yes.
Now throughout the week, you said
mistake.
You wanted to talk about it. You have the floor.
Well, the city spoke, you know, from people, you know, that I played for, to people that I actually coached, to the people that played with us. I got fried, stir-fried, baked, put in the oven. I got humbled, you know, and that's the thing. That's the beautiful thing about debates, because we talking 20 years later, man, it's hard to remember certain things. So I had to go into the crates, and people don't know. My first coaching experience was with Baltimore Blue. Darnell was on that team. So I still have the books, the stat books. You know, I went into the old desk drawer and I picked up the stats, and sure enough, my memory, I had to start recalling. Darnell was putting up numbers against NBA guys. I'm talking straight out of the high school to, you know, 1 year in college. So one of the stat lines I found was Darnell versus Sean Livingston.
Mm-hmm.
Darnell had 20-some points against Sean Livingston, that world NBA world champion, played for Golden State Warriors. He also, now Joe Conley brought this back to memory, the game against, I think it was the Illinois Fire or Illinois Warriors. We were at one of those circuit AAU events. Darnell shuts down Shannon Brown in the second half. Shannon Brown and Darnell were going at it. The first half, Shannon Brown had like 20-some points. Second half, Darnell held Shannon Brown to like 4 points.
Wow.
Now,
but you know Darnell was the game. You heard what Reggie Bryant said. This is one of our top scores. Reggie Bryant said, "What? Was that his toughest check, or one of his top 2 or top 3 people that played him the toughest?"
He did. Darnell was tough, and when I was talking about Steve and Darnell, I went into what I saw Darnell freshman year. He came right into the system. Coach Mike had a beautiful coaching system. If you had any athletic ability and you knew how to finish, you're gonna get your points. Okay, so I didn't see Darnell his junior year. I went to college. His senior year, I definitely didn't see it. But you know, people lie, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. I went into the newspaper archives. Darnell was first team All Metro, All City County, averaged damn near 20 points a game. The show his senior year was Douglas High School, I believe. Tyler Smith, you know, 27-0. That can't go forgotten. Like, it was a lot of buzz. That was the biggest ticket in the show, the Frederick Douglass team. So, but Darnell got his numbers. Gary Neal was on that team. Like, it was a tough-ass class. And again, salute Darnell. If I could redo my list, Darnell would be on the list. Hands down, had a better high school career than Steve Johnson. I take that. I wear that on my jacket. We all make mistakes.
And listen, don't get it twisted. That's your list. but Baltimore has spoken. You know what I'm saying? Just made you do some more research. Look, that's all. That's all.
Yeah, Maurice Barksdale. I mean, I got huge respect for him. A legend in his era. You know, guys at Nardo. I got it. People gave it to me, man. And hey, I deserved it. Like, look, I woke up, made that list. It wasn't like I sat and thought about it. I woke up on the track. I'm like, oh, I'm putting the TC list together. Hey, I missed it. But like I said,
but
it's in black and white.
We ain't gonna stay on Darnell long.
Yeah, Darnell.
We ain't no shout out to you. Shout out to Darnell.
Absolutely.
Damn, you was there. We gonna get into the Melo book a little later, right?
Yeah.
You was there at Towson Catholic with Tay and Keefe. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you seen the politics. You seen it all.
Yep.
Let's talk about Keith Jennifer.
Keith Jennifer, absolutely. Probably, I would say the fastest, quickest guard in my era to come out the city. Unstoppable crossover. Like, I didn't see anybody stop it. Keefe was a scorer. Like, when you talk about dominant scorers that came out of this town, Keith Jennifer lit everybody up. I never saw a defense stop him. The only person that could stop Keefe was Keefe.
Right.
If he decided he didn't want to shoot, he didn't shoot. But he didn't turn that ball over a lot. He could control the tempo of a game. And I think his sophomore year was like the defining moment when, you know, how we talk shit in school. Like, man, I'm a bust ass today, this, that, and the third. You know, Keefe had that type of confidence and swagger. And it was a big tournament coming up, Charm City Classic at Towson University. I never forget, my uncle took me to the game. I said, oh, you want to go to this high school game? The varsity's playing. We go in there, man. I never seen anything like this. You know, I'm coming from Forest Park. We walk into Towson Arena. I think it was like, no, it wasn't Rich Arena. Whatever arena it was. It was like 3,000 to 5,000 people in there, man. Packed, wall to wall. We're sitting in the nosebleed section watching this game. St. Raymond's, I believe, was ranked in the country at the time. They had a point guard named Majestic Matt. They had a big guard, small forward named Vaughn Hunter. They had a couple other D1 guys. They was charged up coming out of New York City. I saw Tay and Keefe dismantle this national powerhouse. Dismantle. And Tay was the type of guy, if you was getting off, he wasn't going to force his shots. He was going to make it easier for you. So he was finding Keefe in all the right spots. Mind you, it was thousands of people in the gym, in the arena. It was loud, the lights, the cameras. Keefe put on a show. And it was like those New York City guards, you know, they got a history for coming to Baltimore and showing out.
Yeah, I got a side story, right? We playing Riverside Church. Yeah. We down in Orlando.
This summer ball, right?
Yeah, so Keefe matching up with Omar Cook, right?
Charged up. He was like number one point guard in the country.
Charged up. I'm talking about. Yeah. He went at him. You know what I'm saying? Call him out his name. Da-da-da. Yeah. Omar tried to act like he wasn't talking to him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he needed some help, though. They walked us down in the second half. But the first half, he carried us all the way to, like, the last, probably like 5 minutes of the game. He needed some help. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He needed some help. He ain't have enough help. But when I say, every time I see him play against a guard, a top-ranked guard, you know what I'm saying? He always showed up.
Let me tell you something. I started getting points when my senior year because teams were triple teaming Keith Jennifer. Literally. Throwing 3 people at him. Matter of fact, I sent you the link of that Spalding game. It's several instances during that game where they threw 3 people at Keefe. It was always a double team. It was always a special defense. You know, they tried the boxing one on him, but he was too quick. He would wear everybody out. You know, it is what it is. Like Omar Cook wasn't the only guy on this hit list. He had several guys. It was like Keefe had something special with the New York guards. Majestic Matt was number one.
Mm-hmm.
Omar Cook. It was a couple other guys I heard he got to at Adidas camp, ABCD camp, NBA camp. Like, and he had the respect when we went to these national tournaments. All the top 25, top 50 guys in the country was coming to our hotels to hang with Keefe.
Mm-hmm.
They was coming to watch Keefe play at the games at Slam Dunk to the Beach.
Mm-hmm.
Because what he did on the summer circuit and what he did, you know, at camps and just his personality, man. Like, we had some fun up TC, man. It was a big.
Let me ask you something. What
contest?
What positive did Tay do for Keefe game?
I think he taught him poise. He also showed him how to lead a team.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, I mean, everybody has their different attributes and ways they're going to do things. Keefe did it his way at the end of the day. But Tay really laid the foundation and set the stage, like what to expect from a point guard. Like Keefe wasn't expecting. We used to have conversations like, yo, I can't believe that they ain't let him back into school.
Mm-hmm.
Keefe didn't even, I don't even think he wanted that pressure. He wasn't expecting to have that pressure now. I got to be the guy now.
Right.
He stepped right up to the plate though. But in the beginning, it was like he couldn't believe it. Like, yo, I didn't come here. Like, I came here to play with Tay. It wasn't, I'm coming here to run this team. Like, he already knew whose program that was.
Now I'm glad you since we gonna segue, we might as well just segue right in.
But real quick, I gotta touch on this. When he played with Tay, remember I'm on JV, but I'm also in the practices. So I would stay after and watch the varsity practice. Tay was really good at helping other players build confidence. And we're gonna get into that. But I watched him build Aaron Early's confidence. I watched him build Keith Jennifer's confidence like Shorty. Let's go. He say, let's go. Like you heard LeBron call Melo, hey, it's time to go. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm sure that helped Melo yeah, I'm getting back in the gym. Like Tay made you elevate your game.
Right.
I don't care who you were. You could be the sorriest guy on the team. He made you elevate your game to his level. It's only a few players in our history of basketball that can do that. And we talking about some of the greats, like just a few players.
And that's a fact. That's definitely a fact. Now, how was it like when Tay did get put out? When Tay got put out, how was the team? What was the mood like around the team?
Okay, man, we the whole program, JV, varsity, the entire school, like the staff. Not all the staff, but you had some good staff in there. Melo talks about that in the book, right? The mood of the school, the climate, everybody was like out of this mind, out of this world happy, man. Like we just won the championship. Like it wasn't just the varsity, like everybody thought we won. Everybody was claiming that mythical championship in '98, man. When he got put out, I mean, it was a depressed time. Like it was a lot of people talking about leaving. As you saw, Reggie Cornell left. Keefe was contemplating going down Dunbar. You know, a lot of people was upset about that. Even Melo. Melo was talking about getting out of there early.
Excuse me, Marcel. Let me make this disclaimer.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all, I know y'all looking at my ear right now. I just broke it before we came on, y'all. So just bear with me. You know what I'm saying? Next week, y'all ain't gonna see it. It's gonna be something different. So anyway, go ahead. You still got the floor.
Yeah. So we lost our leader at the end of the day. Everybody was upset. Melo and Darnell was just coming in as freshmen.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of didn't know what they were coming into. Like they didn't know the politics that was going on at the school. And you know, are we going into Tay's story now, or are we still talking about Keefe?
Let's rock.
So, because their stories are intertwined. So when they did put Tay out, they tried to put out a white kid too, to make it seem like they clean the house. But Tay wasn't a disruptive student. The kid that they put out was the white kid, right? And he was cool as hell. Like everybody loved him too. But I don't know. I'm gonna give you an example. Like the kid that they put out, he was like the kid if you were at a Calvert Hall game, or if you were at a Loyola Blakefield game, or at a Duke game. Cameron, he was like a Cameron crazy type guy.
Okay.
Charged up at all the games, crazy lacrosse guy, right? So they put both of them out. They're going into that senior year. But what nobody really talks about and nobody really knows, and I found this out as a young man doing my research, y'all are, and most people know I'm into the internet as far as history and stuff like that. St. John's Prospect Hall was the #1 team in the country. Stu Vetter, before he went to Montrose Christian, built that program with all those high D1 guys, Kevin Durant, etc. He was at St. John's Prospect Hall in Frederick, Maryland, which is a small town in Maryland. Anyway, this school was a small private school. The history of that school was the basketball program they would have games. It would be like 3 to 4 people in the stands at most. This is documented in the newspapers. When Stu Vetter got up there, he brought Jason Capel, he brought Sherrod Teasley, he brought Damian Wilkins. He had a lineup of guys. The gyms were sold out. So much money was coming into that school because of the basketball program. The economy in that small town started to change. That's how much attention, national attention, was brought into that school. Anywho, the headmaster, the principal, whatever, shut all that down. Right? For whatever reason. Okay. Guess where he lands next? Towson Catholic. Before he gets to Towson Catholic, he already has in his mind, this ain't going to be a basketball powerhouse. This was a lot of people. I sent you the pictures of us at the Alhambra in '99. Gil Goodrich is down there on the front line. Gil had transferred into TC in hopes to play with Tay because everybody knew Melo was getting better. Darnell had stamped himself his freshman year. Coming in, okay, they were building a national power. Towson Catholic was going to be top 25 easily by the time Tay was a senior. So that principal that came in, he shut it down, man, and he picked Tay off of tardiness. He kicked him out from being late. Like, people don't realize Tay went to summer school. He fulfilled all his detentions. Melo talks about this in his book because they did the same thing to him. In this book, we'll get to. They tried to kick Melo out. They really forced him out because of detentions. Okay, the same principal was there with Tay, but it was the principal's first year. So that really changed the trajectory of Tay's basketball career, because he wasn't able to finish at TC because a power head, ego tripping principal came and said, "This ain't." I heard the first statement. "This ain't going to be a basketball school. We're going to be known for our academics." And they tried to make an example out of Tay, and it was really messed up. Nick Mosby, a councilman. Nick Mosby,
this is senior year now. This is senior year.
I compared to this. Nick Mosby, a councilman who was on the front lines during the Freddie Gray riots, put out some terminology that most people didn't even understand at the time. He said, "Our city has gone through decades of systemic oppression, not just with police brutality, but also in the education system." Tez, I grew up going to Baltimore City public schools part of my life. The textbooks sometimes we would be using from 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Systemic racism, systemic oppression in the private school sector is real. Okay, you heard that with Malcolm Delaney. You see what I'm saying? He had a dad though that stepped in and got in front of it before they could oppress his son. Malcolm Delaney doesn't score 2,000 plus points in 3 years if his season is cut in half.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
This is what I'm trying to say. When that principal got to Towson Catholic, he figured out who the number one player, the number one recruit. It wasn't hard. All you had to do was walk into the office. There would be thousands of letters from every major college for LaFontaine Johnson in that office.
Mm-hmm.
They had a mailbox, okay? The mailbox would be overflowing, so they would have to put Tay's mail on top of the mailbox.
Mm-hmm.
So it was easy to point out who am I going to make an example of. He tried to put his foot down, man. And it really backfired because Towson Catholic comes around. Towson Catholic closes down. Mm-hmm. And I heard they tried to call Melo for help, but it didn't work.
They had the nerve. That was the nerve.
Yeah.
Now,
but back to Keefe, man. Can't let this go unnoticed, man. Every year he got better at TC.
Mm-hmm.
His senior year, okay, he was a McDonald's All-American nominee.
Mm-hmm.
He was a 2-time Adidas ABCD All-American.
Mm-hmm.
He was top 25 point guards in the country at this time. Schools like UCLA, Georgetown, University of Maryland, of course, Virginia, several A-10 schools were coming to the games to see Tay. There was a pro scout at Slam Dunk to the Beach from the New Jersey Nets. This is written somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Said Keith Jennifer played similar. They were comparing Keith Jennifer's game to Sam Cassell. And I believe it was from the touch. Keith had this touch mid-range game, man. It was just amazing. And he knew how to create space off of the dribble.
Man.
He was unstoppable guard.
Now let me say this. The piggyback more off the Tay joint, right? Because I look at it now this school was these grown-ups.
Yes. There was definitely racism going on.
You picked this kid through a whirlwind. It's his senior year now. You know what I'm saying?
Going into his senior year, who made the ultimate sacrifice and not going to any camps. This is the difference. Tay is 5'8". Melo is 6'8".
Mm-hmm.
Melo was a point guard when he came to Towson Catholic, but he grew. So that summer of missing camps that Melo talks about in his book and missing the AAU circuit mostly didn't really hurt him because he grew to 6'8".
Right.
And he already, I mean, it's sometimes how the cookie crumbles, man. It's tough.
Yeah, it was like, all right. Tay was on a trajectory to do all that, right? And when it didn't come to fruition, it felt like they would just push them to the side. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm glad.
I don't think it was pushing. I don't think he got pushed to the side. It was just, you got to understand, the internet isn't what it was then, what it is today, or even when Melo was a senior or junior. Like, the internet has grown. So it was easy for him to not be seen. Like the writers, Clark Francis, Tom Kachowski, Streets of Smith, they were going to the camps. So they could only write and rank the players that they saw that during them evaluation periods. Right. He was in the classroom. He was at Towson Catholic fulfilling detentions. Yo.
That's crazy.
That's sickening. It's sickening when you really think about, he was crucified up there, man. To be quite honest, his high school career, when that principal came in, he pinpointed him. And then the next guy they pinpointed, which is documented in Melo's book, was Melo. They put the target on Melo because they saw the rise.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Because we about to transition into Melo and into his book.
Yeah.
However, where do Tay land at for you in your top 10? Because what I see now, a lot of people have him number one. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people have him number one.
Yeah. As far as high school impact.
Just high school.
High school, all around. I gotta go with Melo because he
Mm-hmm.
went to the McDonald's game and I think he got the MVP of that game. And he went to the Jordan Classic and he got the MVP. You can't take away numbers. But as far as point guard, I'm sticking with my guy Tay.
Mm-hmm.
Number one point guard that I saw with my eyes. Okay. Number one.
Now let me ask you something. When you found out that he was going down Dunbar, how y'all felt though? How y'all felt?
Man, we was upset, man. We was raising hell at that school too. Like we was hitting lockers and first week of school, man. We was slamming lockers and all that. We was like when class interchanged, we slamming lockers and like we was protesting a little bit, but we could only do but so much. Um, but at Dunbar, we was down there at y'all games in khakis and shirt and tie. Every
Mm-hmm.
chance we got, we was at the games, man. The games we could get in. Like y'all games would sell out at some points. Like it was hard to get in there. You had to go to the JV game to get into them games when he got down there, man. And it was great seeing him play. I always thought he wasn't playing at the highest level
Mm-hmm.
because gotta remember, I was in, yo, them Towson Catholic practices, we weren't joking around, man. It was blood, sweat, and tears in the
I
practice.
don't know. You're not gonna
We,
sit here
we get,
and gonna tell
we
me you,
knuckled up a few times in the practices, bro.
you're not gonna sit here
I don't know what y'all did at y'all gym.
no, but we know this. We know y'all second five wasn't doing nothing with y'all first five. You talking about y'all was going at it like that.
No, it wasn't. When we went 5-on-5 at practice, they mixed it up, bro. They didn't just have the first five versus the second five. They interchanged, like we made it competitive. Like they never put Melo and Darnell on the same team when I was there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When we ran our offensive sets and defensive sets, yes, but when we went 5-on-5 open gym, it was every man for itself. It was a war.
What you used
And
to do
that's
out there, Sal? What you used to do?
uh, I'm gonna say this. When I got to Towson Catholic, I was bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
But when I ended, my name was in the paper, in articles. So I'm gonna just say it like that. I got better. One of my guys though, it was a lot. We had that picture behind us, right? It's about 8. Matt Stevenson D1, Jason Osborne D1, Byron Jones D1, Carmelo Anthony D1, Donald Hopkins D1, Keith Jennifer D1. We had 6. You know, you can say 7. Gil left. That's 7. We had 7 D1 guys on that senior team. Okay. Aaron Early could have easily went D1 if he went to another school. The guy probably outside of Gil had the best 3-point shot on the team. Led us against a tough ass Lake Clifton. Okay. Was clutch. Point guard. Did his thing now. Cecil Kirk on the circuit, AAU.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we had guys like Aaron Early that nobody really talks about, but were the X factors.
Because he can
Contributed.
shoot. Aaron can shoot.
Yeah,
You
contributed
know. He'll shoot.
to the 98 championship team. He was a sophomore on the 98. He was the underclassman with Keefe on that 98 team.
Mm-hmm.
That team, and we haven't even talked about Tay's career. We talked about the politics,
Mm-hmm.
but the career coming in at 5'6" as a point guard in an era of as a freshman in an era of Juan Dixon, Fonzo Jones, Mark Karcher, and still produce double digits.
This is my thing, and people don't talk about this a lot. He got tested by everybody. The older dudes wanted to. It's like this, and he was laying some shit down. Now he was laying some shit down, but they knew he was coming. They knew he was. Matter of fact, they knew he was here. You see what I'm saying?
It was a guard from New York. I say Tan Keefe had this thing with the New York guards, man. It was a guard. I'm at Forest Park, mind you. I'm reading the papers. Can't wait to get up TC to play with these guys. It was a guard. I think his name was Griffin, point guard at Syracuse.
Mm-hmm.
He went to school in New York. They played at the Mayor Academy at Coppin State. They say take out with him. This guy was an upperclassman though. He was on his way to Syracuse. Take out with him at that. I'm reading this in the newspapers. Okay. So it didn't matter, upperclassman, his class, Tay dominated every team he played against. Now, I'm going to give you the difference between Ted Towson Catholic and Ted Dunbar. And I don't know if you did your homework. Ted Towson Catholic, I believe they beat Good Counsel his junior year at a Goretti tournament. They had Roger Mason, Chris Monroe, E.J. Harris. They was tough. They had another kid, Earl Hunt, went to Princeton or one of them Ivy League schools. Roger Mason, great career in the NBA. Tay and Keefe gave these guys work. He goes to Dunbar, not taking anything away from the guards he played with down there, but it was some football guys on that starting five, right?
Mm-hmm.
You saw how they were able to contain Tay to a certain extent at Dunbar. The same team, Good Counsel team, that he dominated.
Because they ran a triangle on two on us. Hey. Yeah, they ran a triangle on two on us. That's what they did. And Arnold was the man that was open. Arnold ended up finishing with 20 something points.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see what you're saying.
They couldn't run that. They couldn't run that on they didn't. And again, I'm a JV guy. I'm not as knowledgeable of the game as I am today. I don't know what defensive set I was looking at when they played Good Counsel with Towson Catholic.
But what it was, he ain't have another guard that can like.
He never had another kid
and was going to go score. Was going to look to score, but he needed somebody else to. Yeah,
relieve him.
I mean,
yeah. Hey, he had 3 years at TC, the system. He only had 1 year with the system at Dunbar, so I get it. But again, the guy, the most memorable moment, bro. I sent you the picture. That's like a scene out of He Got Game, a movie, when they win that championship, bro. It was about 5,000 people in Goucher College.
Mm.
The Coach Clatchy over at Mount St. Joe has the footage. I coached several of his players when I was at Baltimore Select, and they said that footage is sitting on Coach Clatchy's TV in his living room. It's a tape. That was the most. It was just a beautiful day. The Goucher, the gym, the sun hits that floor.
Mm-hmm.
You got the overflow area, bro. The aroma from the Papa John's pizza. Let me tell you something. That's the best high school basketball game that I've ever witnessed in my life. And many people will say that. Maybe even one of the best basketball games, period, as far as individual performance.
Right.
Clatchy, you got to understand this. Clatchy coached his ass off that game.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't take a seat the whole game. He was sweating bullets like Gary Williams the entire game.
Mm-hmm.
Mount St. Joe was tough. Tory Butler.
Mm-hmm.
They had a big guy that went to Xavier. They were tough.
Mm-hmm.
They did not have an answer for him. The guy hit 10 3-pointers. The footage is crazy, man. And I'm not talking about 10 spot-up shots. I'm talking about off the dribble, deep trays. I'm talking about deep Steph Curry type trays, yo. On the biggest stage, the Baltimore Catholic League Championship game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, hold up now. We go from the Catholic League Championship game to Alhambra Invitational. This is the National Private School Catholic League Invitational, okay? They go up against DeMatha. We talking Billy Edelin, Syracuse. Was on that national championship with Melo team. We talking about Keith Bogans. Had a hell of an NBA career. We talking about Joe Forte, who turned out North Carolina his freshman year. Tay held his own. Tay put numbers up. They didn't win against them. I mean, you got 3 McDonald's All-Americans you're going up against. It wasn't no blowout.
Now, before we leave Tay, this
the type of talent he was going up against.
Hold on.
Respect them out with the Nolan Smith and the Mike Beasley. We get it. We get it. Numbers don't lie. But, I played with the guy, man. I'm going to give you another. This is it for Tayo. That summer, he does not go to ABCD camp and play with the travel teams and things of that nature and goes to summer school and does his detentions at Towson Catholic, right? We had a Towson Catholic Summer League team. I sent you a picture. It's a Baltimore blue, half Baltimore blue, and then Towson Catholic You see a young
Yeah,
Melo in the
it's
8th
together,
grade.
right?
Yeah, it's together.
Yeah.
Young Melo in the 8th grade right there. So when them guys would go, because Melo and Keefe and Aaron Early, they would go to AAU. It'd be me and Tay. This was crazy. This was like my dream to play in the backcourt with this guy. And I won. I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't ready, right? I to play with a point guard like that, like I couldn't finish. You know, Tay would get in that paint and drop a dime, and you gotta be ready to finish.
Right.
So we playing against Woodlawn. We played against Woodlawn and Randallstown, two county teams that were ranked top 25 at the start of those seasons. They were tough. They weren't no slouches. Tay sees I'm not ready, and it's the JV team he playing with. He say, "Shorty, just play defense, get rebounds, kick me the ball." That's what he said. Just play defense, get rebounds, kick me the ball. He played with a JV team in a varsity summer league, right?
Mm-hmm.
We did not lose. He would go for 40.
Mm-hmm.
People talk about he couldn't score like this person or that. What?
Yeah, that's
When
because he can score when he wants.
Yeah, yo, we didn't lose a summer league game, bro. He dominated. Like when he got stuck with my crew,
Mm-hmm.
Shorty, I got this. I would get my points on the break. I would get my points here and there, but he had 40 or high 30s.
Yeah. Now,
this is going into his senior year.
Now, prep school, when he went to prep school,
I didn't see that. I heard about it.
He ran through that. Now, and a lot of times in prep school, on each team, you're going to have at least one or two ranked players. Yes. You see what I'm saying? Man, when a man, this one I knew, I said, man, I ain't gonna lie. I'm like, I wish we could go to the same school because he make it so easy. He make it so easy for everybody. You know what I'm saying? And then he don't force it. He ain't gonna force it. He give you what you ask for. He gonna play it how you play it. You know what I'm saying?
Let me say this about the passion of basketball. It's a lot of kids, a lot of parents. When I made my exit from the coaching world, basketball coaching world, the parents had just started coming.
Mm-hmm.
Like we endured so much our era because our parents was either locked up, in jail, dead, or strung out on something, whether it's alcohol or drugs. So our parents weren't there at the practices, at the games, stuff like that. Now you see people putting up ads for trials or practice, parents not allowed in the gym. Like we didn't have to worry about that. The coach didn't have to worry about that then.
Right.
So I say all that to say, that the kids today, there's a sense of entitlement. Kobe Bryant said that. There's not a sense of burning desire. Kids rather play video games than go out on the court. You know, not all of the kids, but majority from the sentiment that I'm hearing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Back then, Tay would be the first in the gym, last out. So this is how we did it. They had the girls practice. We had study hall. But before study hall, you had about an hour of leeway to go chase girls, go over to Towson Town Center, go to the deli behind the school or Burger King, over where the new Towson movie theater is. Tay would get the ball, and he would practice on his handle. He would shoot free throws. We had the side goals or the main goal, whatever was available. He was in the gym, not in no shorts, with khakis, Timberland boots, because at the end of the day, you could take off the hush puppies and you could put the Timbs on. He would be in there with his Timbs on, shooting, working on shit. Okay? That's what he did. At the end of practice, we change up. He'd get done early. I was a JV guy. I saw this with my own eyes. Because JV would end practice before varsity. At the end of practice, he would change back into his khakis, and then he would continue to shoot after practice. There was only one other guy I saw that. I wasn't there with Dante and Malcolm. Those guys did great things. Melo did the same thing.
Hold on. Because I just talked to Malcolm.
Yeah.
What Malcolm did, right? Everybody ain't do that.
No, I'm not saying he didn't do those things. Malcolm, hell of a work ethic. I heard that interview. Like, A lot of people didn't go into his backyard. He didn't have a trainer. We didn't have trainers back then. Malcolm
Mm-hmm.
comes out that mob of there was no specialized training for basketball. He trained himself.
Mm-hmm.
That kid was gifted, man. I again that I gotta shed light where lighters do. I was wrong with the Malcolm. Malcolm had a spot in our era. Like he would put up numbers. It wasn't. He'd have been right in there putting up numbers with Reggie Bryant, with Tate Johnson, with Tim Lyles, with DeMond Brown. He was tough. He had the mental toughness and he had the work ethic with the Keith Jennifers. But every
Yeah.
era has his list. And Malcolm in his era is number one in his era.
What it
Number
was,
one guard.
he bent y'all out of shape on that when he said dominate. That's what got everybody in a bunch. When he said he had dominate.
And I don't think Malcolm said it. I don't think Malcolm said it. I think the guy that posted it in the comments said Malcolm would dominate. Right. Yeah, Malcolm, he has some humble.
But everybody took that like Malcolm said. So yeah, clear.
Well, that's what they do, man. And that's the fun.
To be honest, I understand why he feel like that. He ran through the shit. He ran through it.
Yeah, he went. He said it. 5 guys in my era went to the league. We can't say that, Ted. They went to the league.
They won. They went undefeated on the circuit.
His 16 under team went undefeated, but we talking about 5 guys that went to the league from Baltimore. We ain't talking about the other guys he played against. He played against some tough
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. But look, we talk about this off air. Let's get into the book. You almost finished Melo book?
I think I got 1 chapter left. I think every kid and I'm not saying this just because I played with the guy. Number one, me and you relate to this book. Like everybody that grew up in Baltimore City, no matter if you was in South Baltimore, East Baltimore, West Baltimore, you can relate to this book. Mm-hmm. Like it's almost like he's telling the story of how we all grew up. We all grew up with traumas in our life. We all grew up in neighborhoods where, it could have went a different way. He also gives you the example where he's from. Like, he doesn't give you the example. He lets you know where he's from. Like from Red Hook to Myrtle Avenue and the gauntlet that he had to navigate through. Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful story, but I believe every kid now, especially that's playing basketball, needs to understand that they have it good. Mm-hmm. Like this kid wasn't given anything. LaFontae Johnson wasn't given anything. These guys, we talking about being late to school. Mm-hmm. Like if you do a map between where Tay and Melo grew up to where Towson is, it takes you an hour to 2 hours to get there. Not to mention snow, rain. You're talking about Hoodie Melo. Hoodie Melo was born at Towson Catholic. Melo, he comes from humble beginnings. He always didn't have any money all the time. Melo was wearing hoodies in below temperature weather. Mm-hmm. Getting to school, I saw this. I was blessed. I was driving. I would see Melo getting on the bus, man.
Where your coat at?
He ain't had one some days. Well, he didn't want to wear it because he was too small. Like, so kids need to know, like, everybody wants to go to the NBA, but are you willing to really die for getting there? Like, really put it all on the line.
You're gonna have to give something up.
Yeah. So this guy, Melo, salute. Like, he put the work in, and it goes into. He says in the book he looked up to Tay, and Keefe. So he looked at Tay's work ethic, and when Tay said, we working out. So I'll give you an example. Melo was on his way to Syracuse. You were part of the story. Melo was on his way to Syracuse. Tay is going into, I think, his second year at UNLV. Man, this shit was long ago. So it was around the same time they both was going to college, right? Mm-hmm. All I remember is I get the call from either Tay or Melo. We hooping tonight. You got the wheels? All right, we need you to go get such, and we meeting over here at this court. Melo was driving, I think, either a Honda Accord or a Chrysler 300 at that time. He said, yo, we meeting here. So we had like this schedule during that summer. It was Morgan State, and at Morgan State, these games was epic. These are open runs. Morgan State's University's team. I was going to Morgan at the time. You had Michael Lloyd, Shea Evans, I think Kwame Evans, Kevin Norris. These are the guys that Tay and Melo organized to come play. It didn't stop there. That was like early evening. Then it would be what we call midnight ball. This is these guys, Tay and Melo, preparing themselves to play at the highest level in college. They organized, we had Evergreen Park down off of Emerson Avenue with Taz. They called you. Taz, we going out, not boat checks, some court out Sedonia. There you had Dono Dobbins, Omar Smith, Terrence Whiters, Keith Jennifer, Dantes Dean, Tyrone that went over at Lake. He was tough too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, Ty?
Yeah.
Ty was there. I'm gonna give y'all a quick story because I know I'm rambling. We already knew Melo was special. Okay, the summer before that, he was down the dome. He made a name for himself playing with Bay. But that summer, we all were home. We witnessed greatness. We're playing all at Morgan, then we're playing on the street. That's why the kids need to hear this. Outside of the pretty gyms, we went to the hoods of Baltimore and we played to 3 a.m. on a daily basis. Like this wasn't no, we going to work the next. This is what we did. We played ball. So we see Melo on the break, bro. I gotta tell him it was against you, man. Yo, he gets that ball on the break, and his footwork is like something out of this world. Like he gives you the fake, the jet. I don't know what he get down.
I know he's.
I'm gonna say the dream. No, Elijah Wan dream, and he ain't dunk it, but he laid it up. But he was right there at the rim. He could have dunked, but he didn't do it once. He did it like twice. And me, Keefe, take little turns. We all look at each other like, yo, y'all see that? Because this is Dantes Dean, the big man from Baltimore. Like, and Dantes, you was at Wagner, I think. You was already in college. Melo was on his way. We say, yo, this motherfucker special, man. He made that shit look easy, yo. And the rest is history. Like, and I gotta say this. Because we talking about Melo book, right? In his book, he has a chapter in there called Towson Catholic. And there's another chapter in there called, I think it's Too Big for Towson. And he talks about the racism. And I always tell Melo to this day, I say, man, you've been an activist. Okay. His freshman year, remind you, Melo didn't have he didn't grow up with a silver spoon. Okay. At the end of the day, we was hungry. We had to stay for workouts or practice. So we would all go to this deli right behind the school on York Road, okay, in Towson, Maryland. So this deli, it changed ownership over the years. So at this one point, this white guy owns it, right? And we would go down there, and he had like this rule because we would hang out. Like we would hang out. You know how we do. We hang out wherever we go. Like that's our culture. So we would hang out until it's time for coach class. So if you ain't buying nothing, yo had a rule like you gotta get out of here.
Right.
So one day, man, I think me, Keefe, and Aaron went over to Towson Town Center, and we like, yo, let's go to the deli. So we pull up to the deli, and Melo in there, and he's going back and forth with the shop guy, and there's some other kids that would hang around the school that would hang with Melo or whatever, and they having words. So we pulling up. We see the commotion inside the deli, right? We pulling up, and Melo's coming out. But when he's coming out, the owner of the deli is coming out with like a broom. We like, hell no. Like, what's going on? So we jump out. Melo like, man, this MF called me a nigga. And Melo invited him to come out to the parking lot to fight. We like, no, shorty, we hold him. Melo like 90 pounds. Yo, this dude like 200 some pounds. We hold Melo. The dude got the broom or the mop or whatever. Melo is trying to engage. Okay. No whore. Okay. Melo had a heart of a lion. He would fight you. So anyway, we ended up we said, fuck this deli, man. Deli went out of business. We started going over to Burger King. All right. Another quick story about Melo work ethic. He talked about in his book getting cut from varsity.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't get selected for varsity. Darnell made varsity. So at the end of practice, JV, at the end of JV practice, Coach Mike will be like, Marcel, come down. Ivan, come down. You know, this is when I played JV. If
Mm-hmm.
you ain't get that call, you ain't participate with the varsity practice. Melo, first day, okay, he was ineligible. Both of us were ineligible. I already knew I was going to be playing varsity my junior year. But you had the option to play JV as a junior in the Catholic League. And I got a little quick story for that too. So the team had just came back from some tournament. So I'm practicing. Me and Melo first day back from being ineligible. I'm practicing with the varsity. Melo, you know, he thinks that he's going to practice with the varsity. Coach Mike don't call him up until the end of the day because we all practice together. He don't call him up. Melo is heated, yo. Heated. He don't really talk about that in his book. He do talk about how he felt, though, mentally about not playing varsity. Let me tell you something. Coach Mike calls Melo at the end of JV practice, like, come up with us. By that time, we running fast break drills, one-on-one drills. We had this thing. That's why I said it was a war. They would put the ball, I think, at half court, and we would have to do a wind sprint. First person to the ball.
Pick it up and then go.
To the other end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guess who they call, bro? This is the first drill when Melo comes up.
Mm-hmm.
They call Darnell number, I think Joe Conley. And Joe knew what he was doing. He called Darnell and Melo. It might have been Coach Mike. Boy, yo, they take off. Mind you, they grew up together. They played Mount Royal football together. They know their abilities. They know their strengths. They take off, bro. Darnell gets that ball, yo. He goes up on the break to lay that up. And we had this thing called body up. That's what we were taught at Towson Catholic. We put that shoulder in. Body up in midair. Boom. Get the bump. And one. Darnell goes up. Melo goes up with him and takes him down to the ground. Like a flagrant. Yo. Darnell gets up. Pops Melo.
Mm-hmm.
Middle of practice, yo. They entangled. They tussling, yo. We jump in it. The coaches jump in it, break it up. I think we ended practice right there. But that showed how much he really wanted it, yo.
Mm-hmm.
Melo wasn't backing down, and he knew he couldn't beat Darnell physically. He knew it. But that really set the tone, like, for his career. In that JV season, he didn't win a game. But I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to give you one more. I know we talking about Melo a lot. That JV year, he played JV. The varsity team was away, and me and Melo wanted to play so bad. Y'all had just worked out because I worked out every day that summer to play with Tay. I was let down when they put him out, and I wanted to play so bad. I had failed geometry by like 2 points. I got like a 68 in geometry.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, we Coach Eddie calls us like, y'all want to play at the McDonough tournament? I'm like, man, yeah, I play. I'm a junior and shit. Mm-hmm. And Melo like, yeah. So we go. Coach Eddie don't put us in the game to the fourth quarter, yo. They getting blasted by McDonough by like 30.
Mm-hmm.
The JV team that Melo ended up playing for. I went up to varsity. So I get in the game. I say, Melo, I'm not shooting this ball, yo. I'm not shooting the ball. Like, I'm giving you the ball. When Melo went for like 20-something
mm-hmm.
In Denver, or in New York in like a quarter.
Yeah.
I saw him do that as a freshman. And not only that, I saw him score like 16 in 6 minutes, the championship BCL game against Goretti in 2001. Melo can score in bunches like no other player on earth. He knows how to put the ball in a hole. I saw it at his 9th grade year, and I saw it when he was coming in. Him and Darnell in the 8th grade, they played on that mayor's holiday tournament. And I called Aaron early, like, hey, Shorty, we ain't just got to worry about Gil Goodrich transferring here. Darnell and Melo, the real deal. They coming. They, like Jay-Z told everybody 50 Cent coming. Man, Melo and Darnell are coming, Aaron. Christmas tournament, news, mayor's channel. These motherfuckers is like D1 players already. Like, we seen it. We seen we seen it coming, man. So we had to prepare, and it was a war every day in practice, man. I want to give that experience up for the world. Towson Catholic was probably one of my most fun times.
Mm-hmm.
I learned a lot about life, and it was just a beautiful experience. And this book, I mean, it brought all that back, like that feeling back, like it brought that time back for a lot of us.
Hold up, before we get off of here, I want you to say something about Coach Mike.
Absolutely.
Speak on Coach Mike for me.
Coach Mike, a legend in Baltimore basketball. He took over the Towson Catholic program. Great leader, I would say, as far as assembling the talent he needed to build a program. So he got the right assistant coaches around him. I don't really know much about Coach Mike's basketball history as far as him playing, but a lot of the great coaches never played basketball.
But he won, though. He won a lot, though.
No, I'm talking about when he, in his day, like
in
high
his
school, like, you know, you got a lot of coaches now that played. But he was, he won at every level. Like when the whole Towson Catholic thing ended for him, I don't know how it ended, but his team, when I say his team, they assembled the Malcolm Delaney and the Dante Greens of the world. They put that together, and one thing we didn't really talk about, that racism stuff. You know, I gave you that example with Melo and the deli shop owner, but Melo talks about Towson being a racist county in his book. And I know it's based off of his experience traveling through Towson. Coach Mike had to deal with it too. Like, you're a black coach building a national powerhouse in a white school. Everybody's not going to like that.
No.
Okay. So he had to deal with that pressure. And it shows you. It shows you. Look at what he did when he left Towson Catholic. He went to City High School, built the program. City High School ended up becoming a national powerhouse, like, for a year. They was USA Today shortly after Coach Mike left. Then he went to Newtown High School, a new school in Owens Mills, Maryland. Won the state championship there. Okay. All different level players. Okay. But the guy knows how to win. And that's that, you know, he's a Hall of Fame coach. BCL inducted him to the Hall of Fame. You can't say too many bad things about what he did on the floor as a coach. And he had to deal with that. Like, your number one player gets kicked out of school for being late, and he did everything he was supposed to do leading up to that point. It was almost like they targeted the top players, bro. One other instance with Melo, and then we'll get off of Melo, right? We can talk about whatever you want to talk about. If you want to talk about the book more, we can. Melo, this picture right here is his sophomore year. They tried to put him out for a fight. It was with an upperclassman. So I'm a senior. At some point throughout the year, the white guys at the school would try you. They would try their luck against you, right? Just to see where they were at. Okay, I guess with their hands or whatever, they would try you. And not all of them. We had a lot of white friends, but some of them would try you though. They weren't the guys that weren't your friends. So Melo got into it with some guys in my class, the senior class. And Melo came to me like, yo, come out to the parking lot with me, because he knew my car was parked there. And Melo, whatever he had going on after school, coaches picking him up for AAU or whatever, he would stay behind. But he was like, yo, come out to the parking lot with me. And I go out to the parking lot. It's in the front of the school on Ware Avenue. And he said, yo, Tim Bender want to fight me. Damn, I dropped your whole name. But anyway, Tim was a big dude, right? Tim was a big dude. Tim was a big senior. I was like, all right, I ain't gonna let him get, you know, if you fight him, like, I ain't gonna let him get the best of you or whatever. Aaron Early went out there with me too. So we get down there, and Melo was sizing him up, and Melo wasn't this guy overweight Melo. Let me tell you, Melo, that mental, bro. Tim had his homeboy with him, Matt. Matt was a baseball